Have you ever caught a glimpse of something moving in the corner of your eye, only to turn and find nothing there? A fleeting shadow, a shape that vanishes the moment you look directly at it. For centuries, people around the world have described encounters just like this: strange, dark silhouettes that appear out of nowhere and disappear just as quickly. They're known by many names, but most people today call them shadow people. These figures are said to be dark, humanoid shapes, often tall, sometimes featureless, and almost always terrifying. Witnesses claim they can move through walls, appear suddenly in doorways, or hover over someone as they sleep. But what are they? Are we witnessing spirits from another world, alien beings, time travelers, or something even more mysterious? Let's dive into the phenomenon that has haunted countless witnesses and puzzled science for decades. It usually starts in an ordinary moment. You're reading a book, scrolling on your phone, or watching TV late at night. The room is quiet. Then, something flickers at the edge of your vision. A shadow, darker than the rest of the room, shaped like a person. You turn to look, but it's gone. Most people brush it off at first, thinking it's just their imagination. But for others, the encounters keep happening. They begin seeing the shadows more clearly, sometimes darting across the room, sometimes standing perfectly still, watching. Many describe a sudden chill, a sense of dread, or the feeling of being observed. Some report seeing faint outlines of arms or legs, or even glowing eyes peering from the darkness. The figures often vanish the moment they're noticed, slipping into walls or fading into thin air. For some, the experience escalates at night. They wake up suddenly, unable to move, their body frozen, their breath shallow. In the corner of the room, a dark silhouette stands silently, staring. When they finally manage to move, the shadow melts away, leaving only fear and confusion behind. This has led many to wonder, are these experiences supernatural? Or is there a scientific explanation? The idea of dark, human-like spirits is not new. In fact, nearly every ancient civilization had stories about shadowy entities that moved between worlds. In ancient Egypt, people spoke of the Ka, a spiritual double that could leave the body. In Greece, the dead were said to exist in the underworld as shades, ghostly shadows of their former selves. In many indigenous cultures, shadows were seen as extensions of the soul, a vital part of who we are, capable of existing independently in dreams or other planes of reality. Throughout history, people have believed that shadows can carry energy, emotions, or even consciousness. So, when modern witnesses describe seeing shadow-like beings, it feels strangely familiar, as if humanity has always sensed that the darkness can hold life of its own. But what makes the modern shadow people so different is how often they're seen in ordinary settings. In bedrooms, hallways, living rooms, not haunted castles or ancient ruins. They seem to appear anywhere, anytime, to anyone. Despite countless reports, the descriptions of shadow people vary. Some are described as flat, two-dimensional silhouettes that move like liquid smoke. Others appear dense with depth and shape, even wearing hats or cloaks, a recurring figure often called the Hat Man. Witnesses often report that these beings move unnaturally fast, gliding rather than walking. Some say they vibrate or shimmer, like static interference. Others claim the figures feel aware, as if they know they're being observed. In most cases, the encounters are brief, a few seconds at most, but the fear they provoke can last for years. Interestingly, these sightings tend to occur under similar conditions. when a person is tired, stressed, or alone, in dimly lit rooms or while falling asleep, during moments of stillness or sensory confusion. These patterns suggest a possible link to the mind and perception. But they also raise the question, why do so many people report the same thing? Scientists have attempted to explain the shadow people phenomenon through psychology, neurology, and the study of human perception. One of the most common explanations involves sleep paralysis, a condition where a person wakes up before their body does. They're fully conscious, but unable to move or speak. During this state, the brain can project vivid hallucinations, often of a dark figure approaching. Because the body is paralyzed and the mind is panicking, the image feels terrifyingly real. Neuroscientists like Baland Jalal and V.S. Ramachandran have proposed that these visions occur when the brain's perception of self malfunctions, creating the illusion of another presence in the room. Essentially, your mind is accidentally visualizing your own body's outline, as if it had split into two. Other explanations point to sleep deprivation, stress, or chemical imbalances that can distort how our brains interpret shadows and movement. Peripheral vision, where most people claim to see these beings, is particularly prone to misjudging motion and shape in low light. Still, many witnesses insist what they saw wasn't a trick of the mind. They claim to have been wide awake, fully aware, and physically active when the encounter occurred. Of course, not everyone believes shadow people are hallucinations. In the world of the paranormal, there are many competing theories. Some spiritual, others interdimensional. The most traditional explanation is that shadow people are ghosts, restless spirits caught between worlds. However, unlike typical ghost sightings described as white or misty, these entities appear as pure darkness. Some researchers believe they might be a different kind of energy, perhaps negative or incomplete spiritual forms. Another popular idea is that shadow people are visitors from a parallel dimension. This theory suggests that multiple realities exist side by side, separated by thin veils of energy. Under certain conditions, perhaps during altered states of consciousness, these veils could weaken, allowing brief contact. The shadows we see might be beings momentarily crossing into our world. Some metaphysical theories suggest that shadow people are not separate entities at all, but projections of human consciousness. According to this idea, during sleep or deep meditation, people can leave their physical bodies in what's called an astral projection. When others accidentally see these astral bodies, they appear as shadowy silhouettes. Author and lecturer Jerry Gross, a well-known teacher of astral travel, once claimed that everyone leaves their body during sleep. We simply don't remember it. If that's true, perhaps the mysterious shadows are actually us, in another form. A more fringe but recurring theory links shadow people to aliens. Those who claim to have experienced abductions often describe beings capable of passing through walls, appearing and disappearing in an instant, eerily similar to shadow people reports. Could they be observing us from another dimension, using technology far beyond our understanding? Finally, some suggest these dark figures might be time travelers, human or otherwise, whose presence causes distortions in perception. What we see as a flickering shadow could be the result of someone stepping momentarily out of sync with our timeline. Even among those who believe in the phenomenon, many agree that the human mind plays a key role. Fear, anticipation, and the brain's survival instinct can heighten perception. Once a person believes something is there, their mind can fill in the blanks. This doesn't mean the experience isn't real, only that our brains might be part of the equation. The mix of emotional energy, environment, and expectation could create a feedback loop that makes these visions stronger and more believable. Still, this explanation doesn't satisfy everyone. Too many witnesses report seeing the same shapes, in similar ways, across cultures and centuries. How can so many people share such a consistent experience unless something truly exists out there? Shadow-like beings appear across cultures. In Islamic tradition, the jinn are invisible entities that can sometimes appear as dark shapes. In Western folklore, the old hag or night demon was said to sit on a sleeper's chest, causing paralysis and terror. In modern paranormal culture, the Hat Man, a tall, shadowy figure wearing a wide-brimmed hat, has become one of the most reported manifestations worldwide. Witnesses from the US, Europe, and Asia all describe nearly identical encounters, despite having no contact with one another. Could these similarities point to a shared subconscious image, something rooted deep in human psychology? Or do they suggest a single phenomenon manifesting in many forms? So where does that leave us? Science has solid hypotheses: sleep paralysis, perceptual errors, stress, and exhaustion. These explanations fit many cases, but not all. The truth is, not every encounter can be easily explained away. Perhaps the phenomenon lies somewhere between psychology and metaphysics, a borderland of experience that our current science simply can't measure yet. As technology advances and our understanding of consciousness deepens, we may one day find that shadow beings are not external at all, but projections of energy, emotion, or even time itself. The mystery of the shadow people continues to fascinate and frighten those who encounter it. Whether they are echoes of other realities, figments of the human mind, or something beyond our understanding, they remind us that our perception of reality is fragile, and that darkness still holds secrets we cannot yet explain. Perhaps one night, while sitting in the quiet glow of your television, you'll catch that familiar flicker in the corner of your eye. You'll turn to look and see nothing there. But in that brief second, you'll feel it. The presence of something watching, waiting, just beyond the edge of sight. And you'll ask yourself, who or what are the shadow people? Perhaps some mysteries were never meant to be solved, but if you enjoy exploring the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your lights on.